Okay, we're partway through this first trade day of a trade-shortened week, by the way. The markets will not trade on Friday in observance of Good Friday, but we're still on the higher side by a little bit in the corn market. Only a half a penny in the May contract right now. It's at 361.5, only a half a penny off of the low. The December contract is up a quarter at 389.25. So, yeah, we've slipped back from some of the earlier highs that we had earlier today. May soybeans up 3 1/4 at 898.5. But again, this market has also came off of its highs. November up 3 1/4 at 931. But the wheat market continues to be in negative territory. July Chicago wheat down 5 3/4 at 462 3/4. July Kansas City wheat down 6 3/4. The July Minneapolis wheat contract is down a penny. The big losses are in the cotton market today, where May is down 166 points. December's down 130 points. Joining us now is Todd Horwitz. He's with Bubba Trading, and he joins us now from his office where he's looking good. Todd, good to talk to you here. Dewey Strickler was sharing some numbers with me here this morning. 1.4 billion bushels of corn bought short here in this market. Just a record number of shorts in the corn market, and here we are slipping lower again.
Good morning, John. You know, look, we've got a market that really is what we'll call this is rotating around the mean. We get up a little bit, we go down a little bit, but it really shows me that the lows in this market are in, and I love to hear that there's a lot more shorts coming into the market, because that just means it's going to be a bigger rally when it does indeed decide to take off. I mean, I think we put the lows in on the USDA report. I've seen this gradually come higher. There's a lot of reasons for a lot of optimism here going forward. You know, how much more bad news are we going to price into these grain markets? You know, we've already accounted for, I think, something that might happen in the year 2050. So at the end of the day, I think we look really pretty solid, and really what we're seeing is just a rotation around the mean pretty much across the board in all the grains.
It's interesting, too, that we are negative also here over in the wheat market. This was a market that was lower last night on the overnight trade as well.
Yeah, you know, the wheat's been, you know, back and forth, right? It's kind of hovering. It's making a higher low from a technical standpoint, so it's still pretty solid. You know, what's going to happen one day, we're going to come in and the rally's going to start, and the shorts are going to try to sell into it again, and then it's going to continue to charge forward. Again, I'm not at all uncomfortable, other than obviously I'd like to make money faster, but I'm not uncomfortable with the way the markets are trading. They're trading as they should, which is really holding the bottom end, because what we really care about, whether we own them or whether we're trading them, is we want the lows to hold right now if we're long, and most of us obviously are long because we got crops going in the ground.
That's a good point. Todd, we're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to get your thoughts on livestock market, and then also touch on the crude oil market as well, because that's a market that you watch quite a bit. We're going to do that next. Stay with us right here on the Market Day Report. Right to the livestock trade we go, and the live cattle market has been on both sides of unchanged here today. So right now we're on the lower side, with April down 27 at 126.28. June live cattle down just now 17 at 121.28, and the August fats are down 3 at 118.17. April feeder cattle down 8, but the May is a more traded contract right now. It's down 3 at 150.47. August down 5, but September and October are still on the higher side. And speaking of the higher side, well, lean hogs today, they've certainly separated themselves from the negativity over in the cattle market. May up 68 at 90.28, June up 47 at 98.97, and July up 53 at 101.88. Todd, first of all, I want to talk about this live cattle market. You know, last Friday we finished with a little bit of strength. Then today we've got a little bit of negativity here. We've got a cattle on feed report on Thursday that's going to be released. But can we use the word backwardation here in the live cattle complex?
Well, you can. I mean, this is typical for this time of year. You do have backwardation typically going from April to June to August. So again, not a real surprise here, but I think they look really good though, John. I think that's one thing we have to remember, is that we've rallied, we've made new highs a couple of times, and we're just pulling back a little. If you look at a much longer view here, what you see is a market that's in a solid uptrend. I mean, it's as good an uptrend as the Dow Jones Industrial Averages are. So to me, all these little pullbacks are buying opportunities, and I think I will continue to look at that way because I think we're going significantly higher. I think we're actually having a much better backwardation period. Usually it's a little bit wider. Usually it's a little bit more bearish. Well, this is actually a little bit more of a bullish area, and if you look at the feeders are in contango still, which is obviously bullish. That's the natural formation that we would look at. So again, I'm looking for spots to buy both fats and feeders. I think we have a lot of room to go on the upside. And hogs, although I'd like to be a buyer, I think I want to wait back for quite a pullback. You know, this African swine flu and this action we've seen, which is, you know, a lot of days up and down limit in the same day, is a little bit too wild. Look for a little bit of a pullback, but I think hogs have an opportunity to go higher as well. They look really good going into future as well, kind of like the fat cattle. So I think everything in that market looks pretty good.
Yeah, there's starting to be a lot more people in the trade talk about a 3-digit hog figure here. Depends on what happens, you know, what kind of news comes out of China, of course. But we continue to hear, today we were hearing anywhere from 18.8% of the hogs now, or the pork production has been taken out in China. There's even some figures out there as much as 30%.
You know, I think that, but again, remember one thing, Jen, in today's world, markets are very efficient. So I think the people that are talking about it right now, we may get there, and I wouldn't be surprised. But I think before they see triple digits, they'll probably see 90 first, right? I think you'll see a bigger sell-off. It's not that easy that they're just going to go straight up from here. You've seen it by the way, the wild swinging action. And the markets already kind of know what's taken out of China. So I wouldn't get too excited, and I certainly wouldn't buy because I think that they're going to start cutting production, because that's already been priced into this market.
All right, what about crude oil? Do you buy in here, or do you think there's still a sell-off coming?
No, I think crude oil's got some significant room to go on the downside. As you know, I was bearish it before, and we picked it right, and then it got away from us to the upside. I think it's got room to start to work its way lower. Again, too many rigs out there. Too many reasons. The only thing that is holding crude up today, in my opinion, is the drive to the driving season. The oil companies want to get that. They want to squeeze that last dollar out of the consumer. But I think we're seeing way too much supply, and of course not enough demand. And of course that equation eventually will come to roost. I think it brings crude oil down. I think our next target to the downside will be 60 and just slightly below. But I think there's a good chance this year we get back into the low 50s or the 40s.
Okay, Todd, thank you very much. Todd Bubba Horwitz with Bubba Trading here with us.
Thanks,
and that
John.
Crude oil, thank you very much. That crude oil market is on the weaker side. In fact, we're just trading under 64 cents on this front month contract. That May contract right now down 62 cents at 63.27, Christine.
All right, thank you so much, markets expert John Jenkinson.